Yo, people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for another episode of We Can Eat Chelsea. Miz, welcome back into the building. How you doing? I can still hear. What's that air conditioner going on?
Bro, I gotta tell, it's hot, man. It's hot. I'm gonna actually now burn in the room. This is a prehistoric fan. That's why it makes so much noise. But I love this fan. It's you know when you have those clothes that you've been wearing since you were in grade 6. You don't wanna let go because they're just so comfortable. This fan is like that. It just makes noise, but it's good quality. But it's not about the fan. It's not about the fan. It's about Chelsea Football Club. We got a win, Matisse, so we're all happy. So it's happy days, bro.
At last, yeah. We were just saying pre-show that we finally got a win. We finally got a situation where we can not celebrate anything because, of course, there's nothing for the wider range to celebrate. We haven't moved position. I'm pretty sure we're still in the same position in this.
We got closer to Liverpool. Well, they got closer to us.
But we got ourselves 3 points. We got ourselves Mudryk. I can see the Arsenal fan base is still complaining about it, and it's man, come on, just let it go. Just let it go. And
let it go.
Last week we were saying we're down to 10 men. Felix has been sent off. This week we're down to 10 men as well. There's no Younes. He's not yet. He's gonna be here. Younes is gonna be here, people, but he's not here yet. And I'm thinking to myself, we're down to 10 men. I wonder if we can get ourselves just another player in because obviously Todd Boehly is spending a lot of money. So I thought we should spend some money as well.
Are we about to sign someone?
And we've got some big breaking transfer news right now. Chelsea are in action as we speak, but they've just announced that they have completed the signing of
That is awesome, bro. That is awesome.
What an intro, man. What an intro. Thank you so much. I really loved it. I really appreciate it. And
welcome.
Thank you so much for inviting me into the group, man. Thank you
Pleasure.
so much.
Absolutely.
Welcome
pleasure.
to All You Can Eat Chelsea, Baba, man. Welcome to All You Can Eat. Officially now. Wow.
Thank you.
Big moves. I mean, listen, if you're gonna take Mudryk, then we're gonna have to take as well. Do you know what I mean? We're gonna have to hijack another deal. Pleasure, absolute pleasure, man. We had you on last week. It was just too good. It was too good, man. We got some great range of debate. It was like, Younes was kind of more Potter out, I was more Potter in, and we got a little bit of middle ground with Miz and then yourself. So it was just brilliant. And now they're asking me to watch out for FFP. Listen, we don't worry about that over here, man. FFP is sorted. We don't have an issue. So unbelievable. But listen, Baba, what did you make of the win as well? I mean, are your spirits higher now? Because it was some mad form literally some insane form that we were going in. Now we've managed to pick ourselves up a little bit.
See, that is my issue with this team. Like, we can play like this, like what we played against Palace the other day. I mean, it was good. We were not looking clogged in the final third. We were making really good passes. All of those things. Again, finishing is a problem. I think we can't finish our dinner, and that will be a problem for next of the seasons also. Like, if Felix and Mudryk are clinical, then I'm pretty hopeful. But otherwise, like, this has been a problem since last 2 seasons. I don't know what is there. Like, we always underperform our XG. Then if we talk about the 3 points, massive 3 points in my opinion, I guess this win was much needed in my opinion. And like, it releases kind of this Potter out vibe, a bit of pressure is released. I felt like when the full-time whistle went, I think there was a sense of relief, not only on Graham Potter's face, but on Chelsea fans' face also. And like, this is a very positive vibe that we are in right now, that Mudryk has come in, and now we all feel positive about his arrival, that he is a very direct player, a very pacey player, a player which can bring a lot of directness to our gameplay. So let's see what happens. But yeah, in all those terms, I had a massive rebound. I don't know what would have happened if we would have lost to Fulham, then Crystal Palace. I mean, oh my God. So yeah, good 3 points. Let's hope that we repeat this against Liverpool on the weekend. Not going to be an easy game. So yeah, hopeful. And now, like, see, what happens is, we were then doing the mathematics and the permutations. Okay, if United lose, Newcastle have this games, Brighton is playing this team, Fulham is playing this team, and if we win 5-6 games, we can, be in touching distance of top 4. So this happens. Like, you become very positive when you're winning, and hence this win was of absolute critical importance to us.
I hate to burst the bubble though. Minimum top 4, you need 66 points, around about that. 66, 67, 68, going to 70. We are currently not on that. We are very far behind those points tallies. So
let me do the maths.
Yeah, we are on 28 points.
People crunching numbers, man. Crunch those numbers.
28 points we are on right now, and 19 games. So out of 57 points we need, in the next available 57 points,
close to 40.
Yeah, it's a lot of points. We would have to win. We'd have to go on a serious winning run. Big up the chat. We are live. We'd have to go on a serious winning run. Yes. It's just, for me, it's just far too little, too late, unfortunately, for that kind of charge. But we can only take it game by game. This super chat says, big up. FTV fans are claiming we offered Mudryk 3 times more, but his wages are 97k. So that means AFTV, Arsenal offered him a 30k a week, but they were not serious. Listen, he was making 3 to 4k. To go up to 30k is 10 times your initial wage. So that is a lot. But we have obviously blown them out the water. But there was talks of 200k, 150k. So it's nice that it's finally come out. I'm guessing via the Athletic, because they have done a big report on it today. So yeah, man, really good that we've managed to do that. And for me, the way I see it, I'm looking at it and I'm saying, yeah, we are desperately in need of some kind of revival as a fan base. And they've gone and got Felix, which was a target. Then they've gone and got Mudryk as well, who was an Arsenal target. So they're trying to stop Arsenal in the league. I'm in favor of that. But we have to still address those obvious clear positions that we know that the team is fundamentally lacking. And I think since that sign has happened, I've only seen good things in terms of reports for centre midfielder. Haven't seen much on right back, but mostly on centre midfielder. So hopefully it happens. Caicedo. I mean, what are the opinions in here on Caicedo? If he was to cost 75 million, would you guys be okay with that, or is that something where you're like, not too sure?
I think the way our board and the owners are moving with the finances is very smart. If we look at it as a whole sum of 70 million, you're like, whoa, that's a lot. But the way they're spreading that out, the amortization over massive contracts, and the payment structures being all divvied up between 2 installments or 3 installments or 4 installments, and then there's heavy sort of add-ons always added as well. So that 70 million could have potentially 20, 30 millions in add-ons, depending on whether Chelsea wins the Premier League or Champions League, this, that, the other, performance-related add-ons. So look, for me, first and foremost, is the player good enough? I think the player is an absolutely amazing player, Caicedo. And I think I have to admit, though, in recent times, the hype has really taken over, obviously, with the World Cup performance with Ecuador, recent uprise of Brighton from probably last season to now under De Zerbi as well. They're doing really well. So obviously the price has skyrocketed up because of that. But I still think Caicedo, in terms of the full package, ball playing ability, off the ball work rate, off the ball defensive work, with the ball, the ability to drive forward and find those passes at times as well, really link up the midfield with attack. I think 70 million is probably worth it, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's a Premier League player now. He's probably, you could even say, Premier League proven. So, and you have to also understand, Graham Potter knows this player. So there's that Graham Potter tax as well. So you got to add all of that into it when you assess this particular player.
Big up yourself, Matt. You were speaking facts on the Big Six. Listen, I was trying my best to put forward the case of Manchester City and some of their players, like the Fodens, like the Mahrez, as being able to be a little bit out of form because they don't play consistently. They don't have that responsibility to play every single game, and a lack of maybe criticism for individuals if they don't play well, because they are under the umbrella of Pep, and Pep at Man City is a god. And at Chelsea, it's the complete opposite. Potter is far from a god, nor does he deserve to be, because he's nowhere on Pep's level. He's got a lot to prove to the fan base, so there's a lot of criticism right now. And on top of that, the players in the attack, I mean, we have actually got depth, but half of them are injured. And even when they're fit, they're not trusted, like those attackers are. So it puts more pressure on the Masons, the Kais, who play every single week. And if they are not playing well, they will be scrutinized heavier than a Foden or Mahrez, who I do believe are better players. But they will be scrutinized heavier because they just play more often. They've got more responsibility. They don't just get taken out and thrown back in with a different player. So United fan is saying we can't banter because they know we'll be back. I mean, there is a lot of positive energy in the air, not just from the win, but also from Shakhtar Donetsk, who are doing a lot of PR for us at the moment. The quotes are incredible. They are really coming out with strong quotes about our future, the way that we are building this project. Some people and a lot of people feel like there is no plan. I can understand that from the summer window, but the context is there was no recruitment team. There was no structure in place. There was just a new ownership that had no contacts, no reference points, no build-up play done for players. So that context, I don't know why it's being missed, because if that happened to any club going through a last-minute, last-gasp process of transfers, which people have to remember, there was never any one like front runner for that process of ownership. It was 6, 7, 8, 9 candidates. So even more. So you couldn't even, as an ownership, say, oh, we're definitely going to get the club. So we're going to start planning ahead even before it's purchased. There was a bidding war. So I feel like that context is missed. And then this January, I don't really see how anybody could look at our signings and say that they can't see that we're clearly going down a route of young players. Every player we've signed is under the age of 23, 24. And I'm quite happy with the players so far this window in terms of their technical attributes. It's going towards more possession-based team. So I think people are overdoing it a little bit. Even the fact that, I mean, between us guys, right, and everybody in the chat, who do we think from the first window is a certified L, and who do we think is just actually suffering due to the team's dynamics and the way
actually,
that we're set up?
This question that is this player worth this amount of money has become irrelevant now, in my opinion. Like, it's either you kill or get killed kind of approach in transfer market these days. Either you get that player or your rival's going to get it. As simple as that. Will it work out for you or not? That's a gamble that you take. Like, see, the main cause of this disruption or this feeling of this disliking towards Chelsea in this transfer window is because of the financial fair play and how Chelsea is doing all of these things. First of all, let me be very clear. The 80% of these people who are saying that Chelsea are in breach of financial fair play don't even know how financial fair play works. So there are many nitty-gritties to it. And like, the financial fair play was brought. Okay, it's one of its implication is to not allow smaller teams, to get done by big teams because of their financial muscle. But its main reason was to that clubs do not suffer because of the debt they are in, and that situations does not get worsened because of their overspending. That was the main reason why financial fair play was introduced. So debt is a very important component of that. When Roman Abramovich left, a debt was written off. So we are starting at a clean slate. So it helps us massively in our financial fair play. So I've cleared that point. And now what happens is, what happened in case of Arsenal is, Now, Arsenal were willing to pay in reason of around 80 million for Mudryk. That like around that amount was their best bid for him. Now, whatever player they are going after, that club knows that they have the financial muscle, they have the money, so they will leverage them, and hence the prices will go up. But we don't care about that because we have to save our season. We have to build a team, and it's a kill or get killed kind of an approach that I'm like that owners are going with. So I don't think that if you are a Chelsea fan, okay, right? See, context again. What Matisse has said. If we were to get a right back and a midfielder, then we would have gone for Mudryk in these last 2 to 3 days of the transfer window. Then no Chelsea fan or no other fan would have questioned this approach of transfers, because we are not linked with any right back right now, and Caicedo is a name which has only come up in the last 2 to 3 days. That is why we are questioning this policy. But I think we are making a very good team if we were to get our first choice targets.
What do you think, Miz, in terms of this? Like I said, half the people out there are saying that we're scattergun, we have no plan, we're going to have a massive demise. Half the people are saying, listen, this project looks really exciting. It's young, it's really technical, and yes, it's taken time, as it should, for us to build our recruitment team. It's going to take time for us to rebuild and develop our stadium. It's going to take time for us to fix the medical, but they are so clear in their intentions that they want to make everything to the top level. And I don't think as new owners go, and when they come in, you can really ask for more than that. And it's funny because a lot of big clubs are going through ownership changes, like Liverpool, and they're trying to go through ownership changes, Manchester United. And I still maintain, and I always say to them on the Big Six, you would be lucky if you had someone like Todd Boehly come in. You would actually be lucky. You would be winning the lottery. Yes, your new owner is definitely going to make mistakes. I promise you, your new owner, when they come in, is not going to get everything right from the beginning. It's unless they are experienced within the field from owning previous clubs, etc. Maybe that will give them the upper hand. But they're going to make mistakes.
Do you know what, Matisse? I was saying it several times on my stream over the past few weeks. It's been a roller coaster. 1 week, I absolutely hate the new owners, and then 1 week I absolutely adore them. And there needs to be context put around it. And I've seen it in the Big Six, how people like Grizz and Thabz, they really come at you, Matisse, with our owners, and they really try and bash you with what is our policy. It seems like it's a scatterground approach. First and foremost, rival fans, you really need to live and understand Chelsea Football Club in order to actually make those sort of comments. That's number one. I would never ever claim to talk too much about Spurs or too much about Liverpool, because I don't live and breathe it. Like, I may make a casual comment, but I don't live and breathe it. Now, coming back to the owner's situation, what Matisse you were referring to, what was the owners meant to do? The way I look at it, in the summer that went by, it was a rookie window for them. They're new to this whole society, this new community. They come in and, Rudiger's off and Christensen's off, and whole heap of contract extension negotiations that needs to happen. And Thomas Tuchel apparently doesn't want to communicate with them. He's saying, look, you do your bit. Let me manage the team. Here are some of the players that I want. Go and get them. They don't have any data from our academy. They don't have any data from our scouts. So they pretty much thought, do you know what? I don't have anything to work with at the moment. I'm just going to copy what everyone else is doing. Like, I don't have any material to do. Like, just put yourself in a situation where you did not study for an exam and you went to the exam hall the day. You're going to copy. If I'm sitting next to Baba or if I'm sitting next to Matisse and I've not studied the day before, I'm not going to try and make up stuff. I'm going to see what these lads are writing and I'm going to try and put it down. So I think this is what the new owners tried to do initially. And of course, some of the signings have backfired. Some of the signings were not well thought of. However, I think now with the different personnels that have come in the likes of Vivell, in the likes of Paul Winstanley, in the likes of, Anthony Lawrence and Joe Shields and all of those brothers that have now joined Chelsea Football Club to literally run the club as a board, because, Todd Boehly has removed himself. He's still part of, sanctioning whether this the money, release the funds. He'll probably write the checks and this, that, the other, and he'll obviously have some say, no doubts about that. Same with Iqbali and whatnot. But I think there is a lot more input and a lot more thought process from intelligent people that have got experience in football. This is why we are seeing the level of transfers that we're seeing with Mudryk, where clearly we value this player. A lot of people say 100 million. In essence, it's actually 70 million with 30 million add-ons, and the 30 million add-ons is going to be triggered based on winning the Premier League and Champions League. So essentially, it's a 70 million player. Chelsea truly believe in this player, so it's like buying a stock. It's really buying a stock. They really value this player a lot, and they potentially think this player could one day become 120, 130, 140 million player. And they've also included a longer contract on this particular player. Essentially, the amortization, when you look at that 70, 100 million, whatever, it really gets broken down into minute pieces over the 7.5 period. And then the fact that we're also only paying about 97,000, it just shows that the recent conversations that the board and the new owners have been saying that they want to reduce the wage levels going forward. I have to say, it right now, and as Baba said, winning games is the most important. You got to win games to get that good feeling. We won that game. This is why I badly wanted to win that game against Fulham. Thank God we won against Crystal Palace, and hopefully we get a victory. At worst, a draw against Liverpool. And the fact that we got Mudryk, and combine all of this with every transfer sort of stuff that's been happening in recent times, Badiashile, even though it didn't utterly make sense to me, but I think I see the approach. Badiashile, Levi Colwell, and potentially Koulibaly gets moved on. Do you know what I mean? Getting players like Mudryk, João Felix potentially on a permanent, who knows, we'll see, which lets me know that players like Ziyech and Pulisic and even Sterling is probably on a high alert because he's on high wages. We want to reduce the wage down. So, Matisse, to cut the long story short, I think our owners, to be honest, when you really deep it, I think they know what they're doing. Obviously, some of the approach taken, I don't appreciate. When they first came in, they got rid of everyone. I probably would have kept everything in, but they wanted drastic changes and they wanted everyone to get used to it quick. They wanted to make that change quick as opposed to prolonging it and lingering on with previous regimes. So as a fan base, we just need to stay patient. I think good times will come.
Yeah, and I think in terms of this Mudryk now, 97k coming out as well as a report, which is lovely to see. It just goes to show a little bit how the media will overblow and inflate and overdo Chelsea in the market in terms of interest or wages. Or listen, we know that we've paid a lot of money to certain players, but we also know the media are making a lot of money out of Chelsea in terms of linking us with everyone, saying the wages are going to be higher than the wages actually are, feeding this propaganda, pushing this narrative even further. And that's why there has to be some sort of balance with it, because, there's a lot of money to be made with Chelsea right now, because we're not always going to be like this, which is why every signing from this January onwards kind of needs to work. Because if you're going to sign everybody up to 7-8 year contracts, they need to be playing very well. You don't want to get stuck with a bunch of players that have flopped on them lengthy long deals.
But have a look at the deals, Matisse. The wages are not that high.
Yeah,
the wages.
The way inflation's going, that will look good in 5 years, won't it? Unless they're going up in increments, which they might do, some of these contracts that we might not know.
And also understand the fact as well, Matisse. We're buying a lot of youngsters in the likes of David Dutra Fofana, in the likes of Andre Santos, who we've not paid too much for, and also their wages are not that astronomical. If even one or two blow up, Matisse, and turn out to be 100 million player, they really turn over all of that. Do you know what I mean? They're really strategizing their approach well. So yeah, let's see, man. Let's see. Wins, Matisse wins.
Yeah. What do you make of this 7 to 8 year contracts, Baba? Because obviously it's like there's pros and cons.
It has done to amortize the payment. Amortization is the transfer value of a player plus his wages of 1 year divided by the length of the contract. So if you look at in a broader sense, Mudryk is cheaper on a long term than what João Felix will cost us over the period of 6 months.
Yeah.
Hence, the answer to a lot of people's question: why you paid 100 million for Mudryk and were not willing to pay 120 million for Enzo Fernandez? Because Benfica wanted that 120 million upfront, so it would have got us in a pickle with the FFP.
Yep.
Which I stated a few minutes before. So this 7-8 year contracts are a risk. It's a gamble. Transfer business is a pure gamble these days. You don't know which player will work, which player will not work. Like, for example, Naby Keita. Well, Liverpool is a club which does the best signings. Which none of those signings have failed since Klopp has arrived. Very few signings. Naby Keita was a player which had come with a good reputation, huge reputation, but his injury record is such that he's not able to play many games for them. So kind of failed that signing. So you never know what's going to happen. Lukaku was one of the top scorers in Serie A. Yes.
Just quickly to interject, just to let you know, because you brought up a really good point there. Just for people that are watching, over 825 people, smash the like button first of all, 165 likes. Come on, pump those likes up. The point that Bubba was saying about the amortization and João Felix comparison. João Felix, boys, how much was João Felix, the total cost for 6 months? Something around
11 million.
11 million or 12 million for 6 months. Let's just say 5 months, because the season finishes in May, right? And then there's obviously the one. I just did some calculations, some basic calculation. Mudryk ends up being per season, because you got to look at it contract, right? You got to break down the 100 million. All right, I'm even adding the add-ons in there. We may not win the Premier League. I'm hoping we do over his contracted period. So that's 100 million over 7.5 seasons. And there's still one more season, which I didn't add. There's an option for one more. So I've gone with 7.5 years, 100 million, plus his yearly wages is approximately about 5 million, which comes down to 18 million. Mudryk's cost per season is 18 million. And they're not paying Shakhtar Donetsk the whole 100 million up front. This is where people really don't understand finances. They think, oh my God, 100 million. What? Chelsea's not paying Shakhtar 100 million at once. They're not.
No, the initial 62 million pounds, isn't it?
Something like that, yeah.
Deal was structured in that way that it helped us with the finances.
Yeah. Also, it's coming out that obviously Egbali and Winstanley have obviously done a 10-hour presentation to convince Mudryk. Obviously, Potter had a phone call to convince Mudryk. Now people are saying, why is Mudryk not smiling? I mean, I've been bantering that. Listen, I'm keeping an eye on him, make sure his Instagram's clean. I don't want to see no Arsenal propaganda. But maybe, I'm really looking forward to hopefully his performance against Liverpool. I don't know if he's going to start because, of course, he hasn't played in many months, and I don't think he has anyway. I don't think he's played since November. So I think we might maybe be throwing him in a little bit earlier if he's rusty, but we'll see what happens there. Let's just go through this in order because I've started a few of the chats, guys. This question here: best team in the league currently with a manager with class talent. Wants Rice, but Chelsea fans think he isn't good enough for us. I mean, City wanted Jorginho, and Chelsea fans thought he wasn't good enough for us. So that answers your question. It all depends on what each individual person wants at their club. Everybody's got their own preference in terms of what player they want to see play in that position. Is Rice going to play in Partey's going to position, which they've already got a Partey, or who's really good on the ball in terms of playing out from the back? Is he going to play in Xhaka's position and get further forward and contribute to some of the goals? He could probably play in a little bit of both. So it depends. It really does depend. But yeah, that interest from Arsenal was there, and it's going to be interesting to see if they follow it up with any concrete serious bid. I mean, Miz, how do you feel about that? You must be devastated.
Oh man, I am crying. I'm in tears. How am I going to go to bed, man? I'm so devastated. Look, to all those journalists, to all those people, the big accounts on social media have been, tying us up with this particular player for the last 3-4 seasons, and now he's linked with Arsenal Football Club. Do you know what? Look, I said it in my stream yesterday. I will find it very, very strange if Arsenal go for like Declan Rice. Have a look at the movement of that team. Have a look at the way they move the ball quick. Not just that, but the way they shift and move places. You tell me, Rice is going to replace Partey over there. Rice is going to replace Xhaka at the moment. And Arsenal Football Club apparently can't even, be bothered to get the Mudryk deal done. Apparently they matched the money. What was there to say that they're going to try and, West Ham are still asking for about 100 million or whatever, 80 million. Arsenal Football Club have a different transfer strategy over there. Some of their recent signings have been very, very good. So look, straight away I can see people saying Miz hates Rice. It's not about hate. I've got no animosity about that player. I just don't think he fits a free-flowing team. There's a lot of deficiencies in my opinion. Can he overcome those deficiencies? Of course he can. But I'm not interested. I need a player that can come and start straight away. I don't want us to play like West Ham. I don't want us to play like, England. I want us to play with Enzo Fernandez. I want us to play with Caicedo. I want us to play like the way Brighton is now playing under De Zerbi. Brighton's vying for top 6, and this is in limited budget. Do you mean there's other ways of playing football? It's not about hate. You do need to understand there's different ways of playing football. Now, what do you appreciate? I don't appreciate that style of football. That's just me. You may appreciate that. That's okay.
But Baba, what's your opinion on Rice? Would you like him at the club? People are saying that Arsenal are taking our twerker, we took their twerker.
I kind of agree with Miss. What I felt was if we were to play, we were playing this 3 at the back for a very long time, so I thought Rice would do us a good job in that double pivot, or he can be deployed as a third centre back also if needed, because we were having that crisis of centre backs last season also. Why is that we always have crisis in some of the other areas? Okay, that's a discussion for some other time. But yeah, I thought Declan Rice would do that, and he can, make us play that single pivot also if we were to go forward. But yeah, right now the kind of football that Potter wants to play, Caicedo is a better fit than Rice. I would 100% agree with what Miz is saying. And this season he has not, the whole West Ham has struggled and they are looking down the barrel. I don't think they'll get relegated, but still I think they have been my disappointment, because the way they were playing last season, I thought what Brighton is doing right now they would do. They would be that nuisance to the top 4 teams.
Not with that manager.
Not with that manager.
See that is the same thing that happened with Sheffield, right? Sheffield finished 10th 2 to 3 seasons ago, before the season before when they were relegated. Chris Wilder did a very good job with Sheffield and they finished 10th. And the next season, okay, with a couple of signings, they'll do this, they'll do that. None of that happens. So I think that has happened again with David Moyes and West Ham, unfortunately. But yes, I am kind of that, I am that kind of an emotional fan that I wouldn't mind Rice at the club, because he's has that connection with Mason Mount and whatnot, and he's an academy graduate and all of that. But yeah, from the footballing point of view, if I were to choose between Caicedo and Rice, I go for Caicedo any day of the week.
I mean, to play devil's advocate as well, is he playing in this style at West Ham and England because of himself, or is he playing because of the manager? Because I think he has the skill set to play, for a top team. I just he's not my preference, because I wanted Tchouameni, and now Enzo Fernandez is obviously playing in a similar role, I guess, because this season he's pushed himself forward. I have to remind people, in his first season at West Ham, he was sitting, so he can do both. Souček was the one getting forward, scoring the headers. So I do prefer other targets, but I don't think he's playing in this manner purely because he doesn't have the skill set. I think it is the managers. I mean, he's playing under David Moyes, he's playing under Southgate. These are not the most free-flowing, attacking players in the world. If he was to go into that Brighton team, I would be shocked if he couldn't play in a similar manner.
Well, here's me playing double advocate, devil's advocate here. I want to ask you, why hasn't any big clubs gone after and bought this squad? Like, we
I think West Ham priced him out.
Well, put it this way: Tchouaméni. How much was Tchouaméni for Real Madrid?
100 million euros.
Okay, well, so would you say Real Madrid have the money? You'd say they've got the money,
yeah,
right?
but Real Madrid are not going to buy Declan Rice.
Okay, but I'm just saying they've got the money. Right?
Doesn't work like it. Just doesn't make sense. He's not David Beckham. He's not a Galactico. He's not giving you that.
Basically, what I'm saying is players in that range, like Tchouaméni and all that. Like this is where Declan Rice sort of fits in, right? Real Madrid's got the money. They're not really going for it. Okay, Chelsea. Let's talk about Chelsea. We were looking to splash money on Enzo Fernandez. Right, his release clause was 120, but we were looking to pay 85 or something million pounds. Why aren't you paying that to get Declan Rice? We went to knock on West Ham's door for Mikel Antonio, and we didn't even bat an eyelid for Declan Rice. Like, look at all the different business that we're doing now. We're not going for Declan Rice. If midfield seems to be such an issue, why are we getting that sorted? Why did Man United go for someone like Casemiro if Declan Rice was meant to be the Lord and Savior of football? Break the bank. Someone break the bank. Break the bank for this guy.
I agree.
What's holding you? If he is the man, break the bank. Don't tell me, but he's got 3 years left. Oh, do you know what? No, next year he'll have 2 years left. No, do you know what? Next year he'll be free. You know what that tells me? There's no value. That's what it tells me.
And as soon as Declan Rice was brought up in the Twitter space, Todd Boehly dropped out.
I mean, look, I don't know why that happened, but I'm just saying, like, Caicedo, we're looking to spend 70 million on Caicedo.
It's true. It's very true. There's starting to become less. There's starting to become less wiggle room for the whole Declan Rice as a firm top tier Chelsea target, but yet we're willing to spend X amount on this midfielder, X amount on this midfielder. He is worth now similar range. I'm yet to see any bid. It's not really mathing. I'm not gonna lie.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I think the summer is the last chance for this. Yeah, it's the last chance. If it happens, if they don't bid in the summer, for me, don't talk to me about him again, because he must not be as highly up in the spectrum for Chelsea as people thought. If they're waiting till the summer because they know that West Ham are not going to sell their captain in January, that's fair enough, because I don't think West Ham are going to entertain a sale of their captain in January, especially when they're in a relegation battle, especially to Chelsea. That their fan base would kick off. They would turn into Everton's fan base. So for me, yeah, I'm not surprised there's no bids in now, but I think the summer is the last chance for people to get their bids in. Otherwise, it's starting to look a bit
Matisse, people are even looking, like, in the likes of Liverpool. Liverpool fans will tell you this. I'm pretty sure Grizz, if he's in the chat, he'll tell you. They're even looking to go for players like Jude Bellingham, who cost even more than Rice.
Different player.
Why? Why aren't Liverpool going for Rice? Tell me right now. Why aren't any other clubs talking about Rice the way we do? It's because he was an academy player, man. You know it. It's because of that.
Oh, yeah, I know there's bias. Oh, don't even get me started. There's a whole heap of bias around Declan Rice about the academy and, you know, he gets it and all this stuff. And that's all fine and well and good. But, you know, I've said it many a time. Cesc Fabregas, when he came in, didn't get it.
Yeah.
He didn't get it.
He won. Look what he won.
Arsenal was his preference. Wenger didn't want him. Cesc Fabregas didn't get it. He didn't get it. But in the end, he won. So I'm not really interested in the whole academy bias too much. It's got to be, for me, based on what they're doing on the pitch. And he is a very good player. Don't get it wrong. I think he's in a shocking team this season, and still statistically he's actually standing out quite well. But not a preference for me, purely because in fact I don't even want the chaos as well. I don't want the chaos. I don't want the carnage on the socials. If we sign someone that everybody unanimously likes, that makes my job a lot easier. I'm not going to lie. I have to be on social media. Last thing I need to see is Rice versus this player, Rice versus that player. I'm bored of hearing his name. It's tiring. It's long. And the bias is a bit unsettling. It is sometimes very annoying, because when he's not playing well, everybody shuts up. And that does annoy me, because that means that there's no real balance here in terms of, you know, what is the player actually doing game to game. When he does have a stinker, everybody goes quiet. This super chat says, yeah.
Just quickly, Matisse, I just saw someone, because I know there's a lot of smart asses in the live chat, and I want to address some of them as well. Kane, someone said Kane. Is that what Miz thinks about Kane? No, you need to apply context on each situation. Understand the Rice thing, understand Kane. Kane actually had a gentleman's agreement with Man City. He got done. Kane made some stupid decisions in his life because he signed a contract extension with Spurs, which locked him in. So his gentleman's agreement meant nothing. Kane would have gone, but Spurs are blocking that move. Right? It's a different case. Rice, he's actually making some smart moves. He is not putting any pen to paper. His issue with West Ham is he's actually on a long-term contract. His initial contract was a long contract. And West Ham have all the power as well. So it's not about, does Miz think the same thing about Kane? No, it's not like that.
Do you know what? I'm starting to understand with the fan base that why there's such this toxicity around Rice. It's because people know when Rice joins, he is not going to get analysed properly from a lot of people. And it's true. He is not going to get the fair analysis that he should be getting, that most other players, every other player would get. He is going to get an incredible amount of bias. And it's the same thing that we get with Mason Mount.
Yeah.
Sorry to say, I love Mason Mount, but the analysis on Mason Mount is incredibly biased at times. But also then it goes in the opposite direction. It's extremely toxic. There's going to be no middle ground is my point. It's going to be either extremely biased or it's going to be extremely toxic. That's why I don't really warm to Rice a lot of the time as well, because I don't want any more of that shit. It's boring because I'm seeing the ball comes in from Mason Mount for Kai Havertz and people are saying, oh, Mason Mount hit it too hard. I said, brother, the ball was great. It was a great ball. Kai Havertz, just put your head on the ball, man. Like Mason didn't have a great game, but the cross is fine. I'm not interested in the cross. The cross has found his man. The ball is in the air. I wouldn't want to put it to Kai Havertz's feet right now. I'd rather put it to his head. His goal came from a header. So the ball goes to his head and it glances off his forehead and it goes wide. And people are saying, Mason Mount, why did you cross it like that? Come on, man. Do you know what I mean? It's boring. It's so boring. So that's part of my problem is the fact that there's going to be this analysis of over defending the player. Oh, the player is this. Oh, the player is player of the year. Oh my goodness, the player is generational. Oh my goodness, it's not his fault. Can never be his fault. He's proper Chelsea. And then we're going to get the other side that are going to be like, oh, you already know. You know, this guy is literally yours. When Jorginho leaves, Rice comes in. What do you think is going to happen? Same thing that's happening with Tuchel and Potter. Constant comparisons. Oh, see, Jorginho would never have done that. Jorginho would never. It's going to be so boring. So if you go and bring me a Caicedo, go and bring me a Enzo Fernandez, a Mudryk. Look at what this Russian wonder kid. Everybody on Twitter, nobody has watched a single full 90 minutes of this youth. But everybody is unanimously excited for this playmaker from Russia. Everybody loves him. There's no in-house fighting. Everybody's just happy. Nobody has watched him for 90 minutes. I can tell you that now for free. Everybody doing prop for this brother. 99% of them have not watched him for more than a spell of a couple of highlights on YouTube. But because he has no kind of like circus around his name, he's going to get that love. And I'm honest, I think a lot of the reason why we're in this mess as well, not just purely because of obviously what's going on the pitch, etc. You know, I think the fan base really needs to get back to a healthy place of because it's been a while. It's been a while since the fan base was actually in a good place and everybody was pulling in the same direction.
Results.
Yes, results will do that for sure. Results will do that. But because the results are not going to come really for a while, because this is long term and it's going to be teething problems and there's definitely more L's to come, it would be nice if we could at least kind of get back to the whole squad being unanimously kind of liked and everybody kind of moves in one direction with the players, because this back and forth is tiring. And I think the players can see it as well on socials for sure. This super chat says, big up man, Ms. Younes, and the recent signing, Baba as well. Are you going to help us win the Champions League?
I really hope this is a huge club with fantastic history. And I feel lucky to have been picked up by this huge club, and I would grab this opportunity by both hands.
This was your dream, right? This was your dream. This was your dream.
I am a Chelsea fan through and through since my childhood.
All you can eat Chelsea FC is strictly finished in the transfer window now. We've made our big signings, so I hope you guys are happy. And we're ready to move into the rest of the season. Obviously, Baba is on an 8-year contract with an option of another year as well. And you know, we hope he's very happy here. You know,
Yeah, definitely.
see, Mudryk is still warm into the club, but Baba is very comfortable, so it's good. Big up the BBC and Lineker. If you know, you know. I don't know if you guys.
Man, I saw
Yeah, I
that.
saw.
Oh my god!
What happened there?
It was hilarious.
Oh my god, that would be like imagine you're hosting and you're presenting and that noise. You'd be thrown off.
And that too, not any other like presenter. Alan Shearer, like the one of the greatest strikers that the world has ever seen.
Did someone like press
Gary
a video? Did someone press a
think-
video?
I think someone would have done that in the production room. Someone would have got fired, and just to create some nuisance on his last working day, he must have done that.
That's incredible.
You know what? It's
man.
probably somebody's last working day, isn't it? Probably, and they've got to be retiring. Otherwise, they're not going to get a reference. And not getting a reference from the BBC seems like a madness stunt to pull. We're seeing that our former physio could be maybe coming back to the bridge. I don't know. She took a beautiful picture of London.
I think we are just connecting the dots.
We are. I swarmed into her comments and started begging immediately. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's not really anything in it, but we'll see what happens. To be honest, if anyone's going to bring her back, it is going to be Todd Boehly, because this man is on socials and he knows exactly what we want and exactly what we need. And you know, we're going to win the Champions League, as Younes would say. Dexter, FSG City model board decide targets like that for Pep Klopp. Pick from owners could have got intermediate instead of asking Tuchel to be DOF. Flops on them. I mean, listen, to go with an intermediate and then to go and get another person, then people have said, where's the direction? It's so confusing. You know, it's not easy, guys. It's not easy. In the time that we're in, when they come in and the transfer window is just about to begin, we got to get targets. We got to get players in because we've lost players on a free transfer, which is the old regime's fault. So for that, they put us in a very sticky predicament as well, getting rid of 2 centre-backs. We already had the forward line of Lukaku and Werner that we had to deal with, plus now the defence. And the midfield needs work, and we know that. And the fullbacks, because Chilwell is out and James is injury prone. So basically, the whole team needed revamping in one summer, plus the hierarchy as well, because we were pretty much all unanimously basically saying that Mourinho and Czech could come, or especially Mourinho, probably come to the end in terms of sporting director role. So maybe, you know, we need to change things there. We don't have a technical director at that point, etc. So it's a lot to get done, people. It's a lot. And for me, it's unrealistic. When you look at City, when you look at FSG, did they go through ownership change when they were bringing in Tiki, when they were bringing in Edwards? No, these guys just came in to a system fitted, ready, and everything was calm and relaxed, and it was done way prior to the transfer window happening. I think Tiki came in like January at Man City, so they could build up to the summer, and they knew they were getting Pep because he was, you know, that was part of the plan to go and get Pep. They brought in Tiki before Pep. You know, in our rare circumstances, it's very difficult to have all of that go seamlessly, and I'm sure if we had done it another way, there would have been other problems and we would have been pissed about that. Chilwell and Reece are back in first team training. That's fantastic to hear. Appreciate the super chat, bro. Your massive support. As always, does it concern you that despite working with Cucurella at Brighton, Potts still can't get the best out of him and wants Caicedo? Should we get him? ? We spoke about at the start of the show players that we're concerned about, players that were in terms of the last summer. I don't think all of them are a write-off. I think Koulibaly is an immediate threat, and I think Aubameyang for me was never even in my thoughts anyway. They're going to work. So Aubameyang and Koulibaly are the big ones, and of course they're the older ones as well. So that helps. That causes problems for them. Anyone over the age of 28, you should be like literally trembling right now, because Todd Boehly's slashing the average age right down. So if you're over 28, if Sterling's getting linked
and on high wages, 28 and on high wages.
Yeah. So what about Kante's contract renewal? Like it
see that I think is an outlier. I've got a theory around that. My theory is, and hear me out, and let me know what you guys think about this. Right, my theory around the Kante situation is there's going to be a whole heap of revamping all over the squad. Obviously, around the midfield, there's going to be many different types of midfielders, hopefully, that will join. Jorginho most likely will leave. They thought that, look, we can't afford to just strip out every sort of identity that Chelsea has had in recent times, and Kante is a big one, not just from a playing standpoint, but in terms of a figurehead. Do you know what I mean? Like people, I'm pretty certain the entire squad, the Chelsea Football Club, and the fans, obviously a lot of them look at him as a very, very distinct figurehead, and he would be some sort of a leader amongst the group as well. Whether we see it on field in his nature, with his funny nature, maybe not, but in his actions, there is a leader in there. So I think they've made him an outlier. That okay, only for Kante we'll be able to give him, whatever 2 plus the 1 year and keep him on similar wages. But I'll highly doubt if this is the case for anyone else. Like Mendy apparently is going for a contract extension, and Mendy wants Kepa money. I'll tell you right now, with the way our owners and the finances are moving, Mendy will never, ever get Kepa money. If Kepa came in now as a new goalkeeper, he would not get Kepa money. So Mendy is most likely going to have to move on, unfortunately, and then we'll probably be looking for a new keeper. Mason Mount as well. I'm actually worried. I'm seriously worried about this situation because there was talks about it was going to be after the World Cup. Nothing. Now it's talks about after January. Coupled with the fact that his best friend's probably moving to Arsenal Football Club. So, do you know what I mean? Like, it's not. I think the Mendy situation is an outlier. So,
Kante.
Yeah, sorry, the Kante situation is an outlier. Yeah.
Kante is an interesting one. For me, I've always maintained we shouldn't sign that new contract up just purely because the guy is not consistently available, and he's on a lot of money. If he was to be offered a really much lower wage, then maybe it makes sense. But I think we're building for the future. So why persist with a player that is right now? For me, he's not available. He's here for winning right now, and we're not going to win for maybe 2-3 years time. And we're building for the future in terms of big major competition. So by the time we get to that point, he won't be with us. Do you know what I mean? For the winning. So
Matisse, would you?
So you may as well give those minutes to younger players and focus on developing them and giving them starting roles in the likes of Andre Santos, etc. What are you going to do with him?
So from your perspective, Matisse, like the thought of extending Kante's contract, like that totally doesn't make any sense to you. Like, would you understand from?
I don't think
absolutely doesn't make sense. Like from having a character of his stature in the midfield as well, knowing that you don't want everyone to be a new midfielder in there, right? Like there is that value of keeping someone who can still guide the youngish.
I would keep cover. I would keep cover before Kante.
I'm actually not very happy with cover.
I'm not happy with cover either. I think cover's been poor recently, but I would still keep cover before Kante because I think cover's shown a lot more recently than Kante has. I think for me, with Kante, if we are to sign a proper replacement, if we were to bring in Enzo Fernandez, he's going to start every game he can start. Like he's a starter. So then you have to ask the question: do we need Kante on the bench on his money, or do we need a younger player on the bench that's meant to be getting some minutes and still developing?
It's a good point.
So for me, if you keep Kante and if you actually get the midfielders we're meant to be getting, then Kante becomes an afterthought and people move on from Kante, just like we moved on from Hazard, just like we moved on from all these big players. I'm not really afraid to move on from Kante because I feel like we've seen the best of Kante. We're not seeing Kante often enough, and we're meant to be signing blockbuster Enzo Fernandez, blockbuster Caicedo. Like we're meant to be signing top players that cost a lot of money on long contracts that need to be starting every game they can start most weeks. And then if they don't start, I want to see Andre Santos. I want to see Carney. I want to see the next.
Sense.
So I just don't see the point of keeping Kante really. And it's the same now with Koulibaly. If he's going to perform like this, I don't see the point. We may as well bring in Levi. Levi Cole has got to be in the squad for me next season.
Oh, has to
be. Then you play with those players and you give them their opportunities. And I think Arsenal have kind of knocked out they've kind of rubbished the term of you have to have certain amount. Look how young their squad is. Arsenal's squad is so young, so vibrant, so energetic, so free flowing.
But Matisse, don't forget, they've struggled to
They
get
have
to this
struggled.
point, though.
They-
They've struggled
we're struggling now. We're struggling.
I think the owners don't want to struggle, though, Matisse. That's our owners only want to struggle this season max. Next season, they won results. Do you know what I mean?
I just don't think Kante's. I just think Kante's. I think he's past.
I
it
hear
now.
you. I hear you.
I think it's gone now. And I know he's a very lovable person, character, so everybody kind of also wants to cling on to that aspect. But if we're talking about performance, outside of that Champions League run with Jorginho, Kante, even in the Premier League, has not been consistent.
Has not done well.
People, you know, covers now not being consistent. But when you tell people that Kante is not being consistent in the Premier League, people will think, what? And I say to them, if he has been, then why have nobody mentioned him for Player of the Year? Not once. In the last, how many years? 4 or 5 years, not one time has Kante been mentioned for Player of the Year. He hasn't even been mentioned. It's not even been under consideration.
Barely played. He's barely
exactly.
played.
So it's like
sometimes when he has played, he's not done well as well. So yeah.
So for me, I think it's time to let it go, man. That's what I would do. He's gonna be leaving soon at some point anyway. You know, I think he's only gonna regress from here. So we may as well just rip off the bandage while we can. While we can spend like this, do it now and get it done. This is no better time to buy a proper replacement than now, because when we get to that point where we're not spending crazy, then it's gonna be a different story. Baba, what would you do with Kante? Sell or keep?
I would move on, to be honest. I would think it's the perfect time to, like, the direction in which we are going, young players and trying to build a spine for the future and a team with a very good core of young players. I think Kante does not fit into that scheme. Again, like, he is very unreliable now with his injuries. If he's fit and if we are able to get like 20 games out of him, 20 big games in the season, then I think it could make sense to give him the new contract. But then again, that is a very risky proposition, because if you keep Kante, you block that place for a young and a very good central midfielder, which you don't get. So I think might as well, let's move on from Kante. But the flip side is, if we were to go to a London team like Spurs or Arsenal, and there he stays fit for a couple of seasons, then he elevates those teams. So is that a risk you're willing to take?
That's a $1 million question, isn't it? Like, is he going to stay fit? That's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, he could elevate a rival. I don't think he'd join a rival, but you never know. But
there were reports that he is very comfortable in London, and he's looking for his next move in London only.
Yeah,
he wants to stay there.
People say he needs to mentor the midfielders. I don't see what Kante has shown that can be passed on. Kante, we all admit Kante's a freak. So how is a freak going to teach a normal person how to do what he does?
I don't think he has that leadership quality also. Like, he's not vocal or he's not someone like, okay, you can look up to him as a human being, as a player, as an idol, but I don't think so. Like, he's a player who you will go to and he'll be very receptive to you, what you have to say.
He's not going to coach a player or anything like that.
Yes, something like that. So
the way I look at his leadership is leadership on field by his action. Yeah, by his action. But because others get motivated by that. But you guys are right. From his personality, I don't think he looks like a coach. Like, I don't think he'll sit down and coach a young kid. I don't know.
And even what he does is not teachable anyway. It's not. Yeah. He's been blessed with a ridiculous engine, can't be replicated. So if we're all in agreement that he's a freak of nature and almost a one-off in football in some regards of this era, then how is he going to teach anybody to do that? What, you're going to cover the same ground as me? Give it a go. I dare you. It's not going to happen.
This is what I was saying. He's an outlier.
And even if some players are committing mistakes, I don't think he'll be the one. So, see, you're doing this wrong. You're doing this wrong. He'll be like, okay, do whatever.
Okay, better luck next time.
So yeah,
Kante's not correcting nobody, man. He's just gonna be. He's
vibes.
He's very nice. He's too nice for that, man. And some people see it as disrespect. I think you're being very emotional, Ahmed, to be honest, because it's not disrespect. I've already said he's a legend, world-class player. But I've seen John Terry leave. I've seen Lampard leave. I've seen Hazard leave. you know, these players don't last forever. They all leave at some point.
Branislav Ivanovic is a prime example of that.
Exactly.
We all used to love Branislav Ivanovic, but we all knew that it was Azpilicueta. Captain leader legend in my opinion, but he's not that player anymore. So
yeah. Report from Ukraine said his childhood city was being bombed. Maybe that's why he's not smiling. Potentially, that could be a reason. I mean, we can't analyze this. It's his emotions at the end of the day. He can do as he pleases. Big up the show. For me, it's not what the club is doing. It's how throwing around money to learn whilst reaching around in the dark for answers, all while unsettling players' careers. Enzo, etc. I mean, I understand why Benfica are going to hate us for that. But yeah, I mean, we have been very loud, and I think we have to learn to be a bit quieter in the future. We're very loud. We're not good at sneaking downstairs for a midnight snack and going back to our room. We're very like, the stairs are creaking, the doors are banging. We need to be a little bit quieter. Miz with the big uppercut to Rice and down goes Rice.
Look, I mean, there's no uppercut. It's just me providing my opinion. Now, whether you like it or not, that's up to you.
Did you see the news about Rudiger? Real Madrid are not happy with him. They want to sell him. If Thomas Tuchel was still in charge,
I
then
spoke about this.
Yeah.
To few
Do you know
of
what?
my
Thomas
Real Madrid
Tuchel
fans.
Thomas Tuchel should go for that Real Madrid job. I don't know whether Ancelotti. I think Barcelona.
Maybe
too early to probably call. Barcelona probably would win the league, maybe over there. Real Madrid, I don't know. They're going through some shaky periods at the moment post World Cup. And Ancelotti, let's be honest, he's won it all. And he's getting old, very very old. He will stop. And
but
Tuchel
I
should
think
take that job.
Tuchel is if you see his history, he's had a history of these tiffs with the board, with PSG at Dortmund, and Chelsea also was kind of a similar situation. He won't get his signings. It would be all board signings at Real Madrid. They don't do manager signings. And will he get the time? Because it's a high pressure job. It's the toughest job in world football, managing Real Madrid, because the expectation is to win Champions League every season.
True. But I just get the feeling that ruthless board, along with a ruthless manager, thing might just work. I don't know. For some reason, I just get the feeling that is the natural progression for Thomas Tuchel now. Chelsea Football Club, Real Madrid. Like, that's your next stop. Some people are saying Spurs. Where are they getting this information from? Who is actually connected to Thomas Tuchel from a Chelsea perspective now? Like, which journalist knows anything about Thomas Tuchel anymore? Like, what entourage that they're keeping in tab with?
He did say he supported Tottenham, didn't he, when he was younger?
Oh, did he?
He did not support Tottenham. He just said it that when I was young, the FA Cup matches used to broadcast in Germany, and I remember watching Tottenham. It was not like he supported Tottenham in any sense.
Like that. Tony's saying Cover's injury record is just as bad as Kante's. Yes. I think Kante's has been going on for longer, is my point. I think Cover has shown high level of performance more recent World Cup, and I think Cover's on half the wages. So that would be my response to which one I'm going for first. But Cover is not safe. As much as I rate the guy as well, listen, if he doesn't pick up and if he keeps getting injured next season, there's no reason why next summer he can't be on the list as well, because we're revamping quickly. So he does have to find that form again, because his passing has been very dodgy recently as well. So, if he starts to regress, then anybody can get the smoke, man. I'm telling you.
I'll put it out there, Matisse. For the first time, I'm saying this because I've been meaning to say this. And I've recently been very, very critical about Cover. I'd actually get rid of him in summer.
Would you?
I actually would. Yeah, I think I would.
Jesus.
Because
are you keeping Kante based on the fact that you're getting rid of Cover instead now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And the reason why I'm getting rid of Cover is because I'm tired. I'm tired of seeing those driving runs and being press resistant, being able to take away the pressure and those runs through the middle and materializing to nothingness. I'm tired. There was a point where I was getting sucked into it and I'm like, wow, that drive, brilliant. And now I'm thinking, okay, wow, that drive, brilliant, but the ball's gone out for throwing. So yeah, I need a little bit more. So and throw in the injuries that happened here and there. And the fact that it's very strange. Look at the cover prior to the World Cup, where there was a lot of injuries and there was a bit of, I don't know whether there was a bit of an ill feeling with Graham Potter, because Graham Potter was saying he's injured, he's not fully recovered. But then he played every single match in the World Cup and he played really well for Croatia. And then he comes back from Croatia after the World Cup and it's again piss poor. Now, I've said it many a times recently on my channel. I think this guy is one of those players that truly hurt from Thomas Tuchel leaving the football club. Truly hurt because he wanted that guy. I would actually think about getting rid of him now in summer and really revamp this midfield. Get your Enzos, get your Caicedos. Do you know what I mean? And have your Kante and put in other midfielders. I'm not sure. Like if you want to include some youngsters, include your Andre Santos and whatnot. Cesar Casede and Chukwuemeka could perhaps be in midfield as well. So yeah, maybe time to.
Some of these comments are really funny, man.
Yeah, I mean, some people are just saying sell them all. Just sell them all. Let's have a yard sale. You know what? I wouldn't mind.
We're gonna have to,
as long as I like the players. If you was to tell me that Casado, Enzo Fernandez, all these guys are coming in, you just to sell all of them. If you just to get rid of all of them, I wouldn't go crazy. But it's about that time that we introduced the final member, do you know what I mean, of this newly branded show. We made you wait an hour and 6 minutes. Truth be told, he's just been sitting in the background for the last hour and 6 minutes. I just haven't let him in. Let's bring him in. Let's
bring him in, bro.
I think
bring him in.
To have a meal.
We're here to have a meal.
New intro.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. Two videos.
Let's go.
The shackles are off.
Two videos today. Mars moving like skullfuggery.
Did you hear at the end? We're here to have a meal. We had that Todd Boehly part added in. Legend, the editor is on fire, man. So yeah, Younes is here with us now.
Yeah, thank you for keeping me backstage for an hour and 6 minutes.
I
feel like I've been arrested.
Yeah, I just wanted to do the intro, man. How are you? How are you after we've got a win under our belt now? We're just blasting through some super chats. The spirits are a bit higher after the Mudryk hijack as well. I don't think we've all spoke since that, have we?
No, we haven't. I mean, first and foremost, yeah, sorry for the lateness. I've been caught up on a madness. Drogbaba, welcome. Welcome.
Thank you.
That's it. We're now 4, not 3.
Yeah.
So this is great. And
there's literally no more space on the screen for other people. So that's it.
It's done.
If anyone's ever thinking.
And yeah, we've not spoken since we hijacked the transfer. We won a football match. It's looking good.
It's really looking good.
Lovely jubbly.
Although no. Although, like, yeah, we won a football match. We got a transfer done. Great. That's not just it, is it? Like, now we've got to play Liverpool. Are they going to be a mess, as they've been playing, or are they going to wake up? Are we going to wake up? Are we going to improve? Are we not? So many questions.
Yeah, so many questions, because Liverpool is one of those weird fixtures where it's like both teams couldn't be. They're trying to outdo each other almost. One time I look at us, I think, oh, we're definitely worse. Then I watch them against Brighton. I'm like, no, you're definitely worse than us. And then it's like, it's just a to and throw back and forth every minute. So I have no idea what to expect from that match. But it would have been nice for Felix to be fit, because if Felix was not suspended, it would have been wonderful. It would have been a wonderful meal, because him and Mudryk potentially, it's exciting. Do you know what I mean? It is exciting to just think of what the potential could be. Felix is one of those players that undeniably I'm extremely pro. I always have been since his Benfica days. I was speaking about it with Adrian. Obviously, Miz, you'll know Adrian very well. And 79 shirt, Benfica, that Europa League run. I'm a massive Felix fan. And I just hope that when he does come back from suspension, that he does live up to the billing, continue to play well as he did in the first game, give us those nutmegs, hopefully the goals, the assists if he can, because I would love for him to be here on a permanent, as much as it's illogical to say that we should sign another a forward. And I am more than you can believe on this camp of get the midfielder, get the right back. I have got PTSD from forwards. But with it, when it comes to Felix, he's got a very. I've always had a little bit of a weakness for Felix in terms of him coming to the club, and I'm like, do you know what? I kind of wanted him to go elsewhere because I thought we might break him. But now that I'm seeing these technical players coming in, the Mudryks, I'm seeing the Nkukus, maybe, you know, Enzo. I feel like maybe this could work out. Maybe. I don't know. Just Waffling says, for me, only guaranteed banger is one that might not be permanent. Felix, better pass from Mace, and he slots it in on his debut. Unbelievable player.
Let's give him some time. I mean, it was good 60 minutes, but let's give him some time. Even Lukaku scored on his debut, man.
No, it's a fair point. I want to say that for good or for bad, because sometimes we see one good performance and it's this guy's going to win the Ballon d'Or. And then you see one bad performance and, what have we done? Shouldn't have bought him. Or,
he's the worst signing ever.
This guy's, man, what a waste. Or, he doesn't know what he's doing. Based on what, I'm not talking in terms of loads of performances, just one. We tend to have that mad shift. So yeah, we gotta be logical.
Vinicius Junior is the prime example of this. His first season was abysmal. Like
Sure.
They were like, oh, what have we signed? And like now, so I think he's one of the best left forwards in the world right now.
Yeah, 100%. Martin says, big up, respect the grind and the entertainment. Much appreciated, bro. Lots of content coming thick and fast. Later on today, we got the Italian Super Cup, AC Milan versus Inter Milan. So I'm very much looking forward to that. My arch nemesis Lukaku is playing, and Giroud is also playing. So I'm looking forward to it, man. Liverpool fans are saying Klopp has fixed them after Wolves match. Should we be worried? No, I watched the game. They are not fixed. Liverpool fans seem to not accept being in the same boat as us. Opinions, yeah. Liverpool fans, if that's what they're saying, I'd be shocked if they're saying that, because I watched the game. They're far from fixed, but they did play a bit more compact, a bit more goal. They were a lot less entertaining, but they were playing a second string Wolves team in certain positions, and they put out a second string team as well. So Liverpool are far from fixed. So you don't need to pay attention to any of that.
They're not in this. I wouldn't say they're in the same boat. They're in a different boat, but in the same water.
Yeah,
you know, they've got different problems, different issues compared to us, but they're heading down like we are. So.
Do you know what, Younes? I said recently that we've accepted that we're in a decline. We as a club, we as a fan base, we know we're in a decline and we're trying to rectify it. We're in a transition. We're always in a transition. We're in a process. We're in a project, right? These are the buzzwords that we talk about. Liverpool, on the other hand, they're not accepting their situation that they need to be where we are. They need to be in a process. They need to be in a project. They are in a decline. But they're not. The first step of rectifying a situation is acceptance. You need to accept where you are. And Liverpool right now are not accepting the fact that the glamour days of Liverpool that once used to be has disappeared in thin air. And you got to start again. And the quicker they understand this, the better it is, obviously, for their club. But I hope they don't accept it. I hope they don't admit it. And I hope they live in denial so that we can go there and absolutely pump them, hopefully. I just get this feeling that we're going to get this victory against them during the weekend. I don't know why I get this feeling, but
I hope we do, man. It'll be wonderful.
It's the perfect time. It is two rubbish teams coming together, but hopefully us with a little bit of momentum, with the win against Palace. And mind you, we should have scored. Havertz should have scored a hat-trick. Obviously kept us in. It's not like we didn't create chances. For the first time, you can actually come off a match, against the opposition and go, do you know what? It wasn't really 1-0. Maybe we could have scored a few more, as opposed to the previous games where you're like, we definitely didn't deserve to score any because we didn't create any. So I'm hoping we really put the full throttle on Liverpool. I would love to start Mudryk from the get-go, minute 1, not even off the bench. Don't even let them settle. Don't even let Liverpool breathe. Mudryk, get him on. I don't know how much they know about him. We as a fan base don't know much about Mudryk. They certainly wouldn't know anything about him. Unleash him.
I'll be saying to him, don't go in for a tackle, please.
Oh, please.
Don't tackle anyone. If someone comes back, just let him
Studs.
through. Let him through.
Studs high.
You know what? I want to mention a point you about Liverpool very quickly, because I think it applies to not just them but to us and to everyone else. You talk about like Klopp and the fact that they have to accept, and they're in a certain level. I think this is where you appreciate the beauty of the job that Alex Ferguson done at Man United.
Yeah.
It has to be respected, because
the refurbishment every season.
He would rebuild as he goes along and succeeds. Like the rebuild would be done at the top level, and it would never. They would never come down. They'd be bringing in players like your Park Ji-sung, like Hargreaves and all these guys. And there's a transition going on, but the level remains there, and they never come down. And that's now we know it's not. Teams don't do that anymore.
No,
that was just United at that time for over 20 years or whatnot. So you have to appreciate that, because it can be done.
I think that is because the manager had such a tight grip on his dressing room and the players. Like, if you remember after that 2006 World Cup, when that Rooney and Ronaldo controversy happened in the Portugal-England quarterfinal, it was, I think. So Sir Alex Ferguson, really meant the situation, and we were on a way to doing the three-peat in the Premier League, and they stopped us. They won the league that season in the 6-7 season.
Yeah.
So that, and the 12-13 season again, the only player they got was Robin van Persie, and they won the league.
It's so mad that you speak about that. We could have done a three-peat. We could have done a three-peat. But that was the season where Petr Cech got injured. Kudachini got injured, and we were stuck. At one moment, John Terry was
and unnecessarily we bought Shevchenko from AC Milan. Unnecessarily, we did not need him at that point.
We didn't have a transfer plan at that time.
No, that was a Roman signing. Roman loved Shevchenko. He loved Fernando Torres. Those are the two strikers that he. And I understand the love for Fernando Torres. I'm not gonna lie. If I was Chelsea owner, I probably would have bought Fernando Torres as well.
Fernando Torres, before that injury at that time for Liverpool.
Yeah,
lethal. It's absolutely lethal.
One of my favorite strikers.
I was happy that he won't score against us when we signed him. That was the sheer.
We signed him just so he didn't score against us. Then they went and signed Suarez and massively upgraded.
I still remember in the 10-11 season when he was not at his best, he was struggling with an injury. Still, he scored 2 goals.
Yeah,
in that game.
It was damn good.
Unbelievable.
Remember his first goal where he slips in the mud, and it was like, oh my god, this guy
against West Ham.
And then he finally when he slipped, I was like, this guy.
That was so relieving.
Yeah, it was.
The ball trickled into the mud.
How many games did it take him? How many games did it take him to score? Like
ages. I remember it took ages.
We're waiting.
We're waiting.
April. He scored in April. We signed him
in January.
Obviously, we'll all appreciate what Torres did in that semi-final in the Champions League against. But for some reason, the one picture that I can't get rid of in my mind when I think about Torres is that epic miss against Man United. Big miss.
That's where it was.
How he rounds the keeper. Rounds the keeper. And maybe that could have been the catalyst to come back in that game. And then he misses an open goal.
And in that very same game, he had scored a brilliant goal.
Yeah.
Exactly. We should have come back in that match. It was mad. For some reason, that picture always sticks in my head that he missed an unbelievable opportunity. And
he used to work very hard for the team. He used to keep running, hoping for something to happen. I used to Werner gave me a lot of Torres vibes. Like nothing is going for him, but he's still trying for the team. He's running around.
Great knee slides, Werner. I mean, half the time the flag went up and then he had to get up, but the intentions were brilliant. So yeah, I mean, Liverpool is a very, very, I guess, unpredictable match that we have coming up. In terms it truly is, yeah. In terms of Potter and his Big Six record is pretty poor. I think it's fair to say. Liverpool is again another opportunity to right that, even though they're in shocking form. I'm still going to count that as a Big Six win. If you can go to Anfield and pick up a win, that's a Big Six win for me. Of course. And Arsenal, United, City twice. We got Tottenham again later on in the season. We need to put up. He needs this. Again, I said it like last time, I said it again. When we had the 2 City games in a row, he needs to win against a top team. He needs to. It really is important to rubber stamp your authority, not only in the dressing room and with the team and where we're going, but also as yourself, that confidence to beat a top manager in a top job and to have that big head-to-head clash and come out on top even though Klopp and Liverpool on their bare bones, so are we. So it's just as it usually is. It's a very even match. It's a very close game. So
especially Matisse, with the owners really now backing you, man. Like they're moving mountains for you.
yeah,
Give them a win against a big club like
Yeah.
Liverpool to really go out there and get Enzo Fernandez's release clause done. Do you know what I mean? Like really just give them. Imagine Tom Bohely did that. We win against Liverpool and they go, do you know what? Potter might just win like you know how Younes always says, we might win the Premier League now. Do you know what I mean? Potter, like Tom Bohely could have those vibes if we get that win against Liverpool. He might go out there and just trigger that release clause for Enzo Fernandez right here, right now. So
It won't happen.
I know it won't happen.
No, it won't happen. AC Milan was good, very good, but it doesn't slap the same, man. It doesn't slap the same. You need to do it on home soil. You know, walk before you can run. Make sure your house is clean before you go outside. And do you know what I mean? It's one of those ones. I think AC Milan was good. There's context around it. Someone was sent off, doing us a little favor there. Another, you know. So, but for me, you know, I need it on home soil, man. I need it on home soil. Did I actually clear all the super chats, people in the comments, or did I miss some? Let me see. I don't even know where they are anymore. I think I've actually maybe cleared them all, people. Let me know if I've missed any super chats, because don't want to do that. We've only got maybe 10 minutes left, but I want to ask Younes' thoughts on this whole Tuchel to Tottenham and Rice to Arsenal. We've been discussing it while you were away, but it would be criminal if I didn't get your opinions on these things.
I said it on Big Six Extra yesterday. Yeah, Tuchel goes to Spurs. I'm not worried. Why? Not because it's Tuchel, because it's Spurs. I explained, like they tried to replicate. I even offered Fuad my Chelsea top. I was like, yo, you might as well just go on. Here you go, just wear it. You all want to. You're trying to be us. You have this obsession with us. You take Jose. You think, he's won 8 trophies at Chelsea. He's going to do it here. No, 0. Conte, Premier League, FA Cup at Chelsea. He's going to do it here. No. Tuchel, 3 trophies. Guess what? There'll be none. So I'm not concerned. If he wants to go to Spurs, I can understand that. Especially, this is a similar situation to Jose with Chelsea under Roman. Jose left Chelsea twice, got sacked twice, so he doesn't see an affiliation to Chelsea under Roman Abramovich anymore. So I'll go to Tottenham. I'll do my job. I have offered a contract. I've been hired by an employer. I do my job. Cool. Tuchel is now under that same pretense under these new owners because it didn't quite work out between them. So he doesn't have an affiliation directly to the new owners. Even worse, because these new owners have just walked in. There's no personal connection yet, even between us and the owners. It's not there yet. That's going to take time. So Tuchel's probably thinking, if Tottenham come and offer me a job, it's a job. I'm going to take it. So look, if he gets it offered, good luck to him. But like we know, he won't win anything at Tottenham, not because it's him in charge, it's because it's Tottenham. This is the history of the Tottenham.
Exactly.
The history.
It's the history of the Tottenham.
So I'm not concerned. They could get Jose, Conte, and Tuchel into one and make the super ex-Chelsea manager, and they'll still win nothing because it's Tottenham.
It's true. And I've said it many times. It's in the cotton fiber. It's in the cloth. It's in the washing machine tablets. It's in the kit man's regime. It's in every single part of that club to be unsuccessful. And I think they're starting to come to terms with that now. Thabz was telling me that they're going to win a trophy this season under Conte. I laughed. I had a chuckle.
What trophy is that? One from the charity shop?
I mean, now it's looking like Conte is on a sabotage mission. So
exactly. We know the blueprint.
Bruh.
We know this is what I've tried.
Second
to
season syndrome.
We've been there. We know. We're hearing all these things at Tottenham. We're hearing about this new contract, little feuds. Doesn't have players. We've been there, man. We know exactly what he wants. We know what he's trying to do. We know where this is going. They don't want to listen.
I was saying
it's over for Conte over there.
I was saying to
we
the
know
people,
it's over.
I've genuinely won more trophies than Harry Kane. This be under 14s level, when I was. But I've genuinely won more trophies than him. So I don't think he's won anything at you. I don't think he's won anything at youth level. If he's been at Tottenham the whole time, I don't think.
Surely he's won golden boots, hasn't he?
I'm talking about team trophies.
Oh, like proper team trophies.
The real stuff. The real stuff.
The real stuff.
Someone needs to find out if Harry Kane's ever won a trophy, period. Like, go all the way back to the youth academies just to check, because if he hasn't actually lifted a single trophy in his entirety playing football, that is something very unique.
You know what's mad? Very quickly, just on Tottenham, even if they decided to go the other way, which technically is the right way, to go down a route where they can be unique, where they can get someone in that they can build with, where they can try and find their own DNA, they still won't win anything because they're Spurs.
Oh my God.
That's absolutely true.
They're doomed.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. I mean, listen,
They'll have Poch back, I feel.
Poch. I mean,
but this is the thing. He'll come in and he'll be like, yo, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this.
No, he won't. He works with the young. He's going to bring through young players, I think. He always does that. He might bring, I don't know.
He wants guarantee, I'm sure. On paper, like, you're signing this.
I think his stocks are quite low at the moment. So I don't know what his chest is looking like in terms of how much he's going to come with this demands, because he's yet to move anywhere yet, is he? And that's kind of surprising. I still think Poch is a very good manager, so it is a little bit surprising.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so still very good manager.
Honestly, I reckon Spurs should take a leaf out of, like, in the likes of Brighton, in the likes of
people saying Thomas Frank from Brentford, trying that.
Yeah, Brentford. Like, they really need to reset. Stop copying us, man. As Younes and the lads said, you can't copy us, man. You can't copy the players. It's in the blood. It's in the DNA. You cannot copy us. You can we will even give you the blueprint if necessary. You will still not be able to copy it because you're not that person. You're simply not that person. Your club, like, if I ever wanted to give an advice to Spurs, is just start from scratch and go with a different route. Like, as I said, a route of Brighton, a route of Brentford, a route of Fulham even now. Just do something totally different. Stay patient, and maybe something may materialize. But copying us, only we know how to do us. Do you know what I mean?
Chaos is what we do. We do chaos. We consume chaos. We're going to wrap up. Chaos. Yeah, we thrive in chaos, literally. We're going to wrap up, people. This last super chat from Tim says Kane couldn't win a meat raffle in a county town.
That's brilliant.
That is actually mad. Jesus Christ. That's very, very imaginative and creative there. Fair play to him. Yeah, been a great show. Obviously, this is now the cast. This is the new Fantastic Four. The final signing of the only and final signing of January window. I am going to be a lot more meticulous than Todd. And, I just decided to just go, mega signing, big money signing, just one. And yeah, absolute pleasure. So, Baba, let them know where to find you. It's been a pleasure, and looking forward to this new long-term 8-year contract.
Yes, 8 years and hopefully 8 more years after that. So yes, Drogbaba, the channel is by the same name, Drogbaba. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter by the Drogbaba. So would be really happy if you could check me out, and we can have discussions and whatnot over there. Thank you so much, and thank you to all my viewers back in India and the subcontinent, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, from wherever you are watching, Nepal, because it is because of you guys that I was able to get in touch with Miz, and with Miz through to Matisse, then to Younes, and it's a synergy in which we all are working, and like this we can help each other out, and the cultures can come together, and there is a huge Chelsea fan base, not just in the UK.
Exactly.
The limited geographies, but elsewhere also in the world. So let's bring all the fans together, and literally, it's a perfect platform for that. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, we've got now. Yeah, go on, Younes.
I was gonna say real quick. You've signed Drogbaba on an 8.5-year deal. Me and Miz were talking. We've said we're not quite satisfied with what we're getting. So
Matisse is treating me like Kante, Younes. He's looking at me like, I need to revamp.
What's going on?
We'll have new contract videos coming next week. Do you know what I mean? For Younes and Miz, new contracts.
Me and Miz are after, what was it, 300k a week?
Minimum, bro. I've been player of the season for so many years. Like, come on.
Literally. So now I'm gonna have to re-up everyone's contracts. This is what happens, guys. Inflation. Do you know what I'm saying? It's insane. Inflation is a madness. Miz, do let everybody know where to find you. You are chasing a very big milestone, I see.
Yeah, man. The other side of the coin, not as crazy. Working hard as Matisse. Matisse is blowing it up now, man. There was a time where people used to call me the content. Matisse is on some sort of steroids at the moment, and you know what?
Matisse is
Good on him, and I'm so proud. I actually tune in on his watch-alongs every morning because you best believe he's on a watch-along every morning. My time, he's there.
There's another one coming today.
Yeah, whether it's in Italy, whether it's in Spain, whether it's in UK. He's there. You best believe he is there. So now big up to him. The other side of the coin, as usual, 2 content, live stream early morning, UK time, which is more of a discussion, more of a gossip, more of a laid back, bit of controversy at times. And then later on in the evening, you do get the wrap up of all the latest Chelsea news. And help the channel out to get to 20,000. I think we're about 800 away. So.
Wow, 800 away, people. So listen, if you have not subscribed, go and subscribe because the link is in the description. That's a big milestone. It looks beautiful. I always say it, every time you hit that 30, 40, 50, it looks beautiful. It always looks lovely. Yeah. So so make sure you go and subscribe, man. Miz has been tirelessly working on YouTube longer than me. He came on YouTube before me. I remember when he was on Twitter causing all sorts of havoc. We had our 12th man group long time ago now, all the way back from then. And then we had a lot of controversy in that group. Do you know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean? Like we've been out here for a while, but Miz actually came to YouTube before me. So guys, make sure you go and subscribe to both Baba and Miz and Younes. Let them know where to find you as well. Fresh off the Big 6 extra last night. It's not easy to hold the fort down, is it?
Oh, I mean, no, it's all right because we got a win. But yeah, man, it's mad, especially in these circumstances. I mean, even James had to take a step back because Liverpool are heading into the trenches as we are. So, it's not easy, but it's fun. We love it. And apart from that, I haven't uploaded on my channel for the past 2 days. It's just been nothing really concrete or massive, but there will be a video today. And then we look forward to the Liverpool game. And we'll also look elsewhere and see what else is popping around the Premier League, and if anything big happens elsewhere, then I'll give my thoughts on it. But Younes Talks Football.
There you go, guys. So make sure you subscribe. It's a mad time right now in the Chelsea community. I'm seeing a lot of people dropping content more often than they did, and everybody's pushing. Start of the year, resolutions have been made. I can see it. The energy, the drive, they're pushing. Now that the club is not, we're trying to push harder than the club at the moment. So in terms of what we're doing on the pitch. So, you know what I mean? We're trying to bring over that energy. We work hard, you work hard on the pitch. Let's see if it links up. Make sure you subscribe, guys, to everybody. And yeah, listen, you've got your big sign in there. Mudryk and Baba in the same week. It's beautiful. Hopefully in Chelsea terms, more signings to come, of course, in the midfield and the right back positions, as I keep saying. So we leave you with the fresh new intro, and in a bit, people, peace.